One, yeah. Hello, Mobiconf. My name is Michael Śliwiński, and I will talk today about some lifestyle stuff, productivity stuff, and everything mobile stuff. So, my name is Michael. I'm the founder and CEO of Nozbe, which is a project and time management app available on all the platforms, including the watch. And we've been doing this for 11 years now, so it's not a young startup. It's a good tried app, and we have more than 500,000 users from all over the world using our apps. So it's been a while, and the thing is that I started the company myself as a one-man shop, and then from there our team grew, and we grew to 25 people right now. So meet my team. And from the very beginning, I wanted to work without an office. I just wanted to work from anywhere. And my first hires were already people from a different town than mine. So our company culture grew from there as a no office culture. And so the three hashtags that we stand for are productivity, is because we help other people get stuff done and other teams get stuff done. No office, because we literally have no office. We have an address because it's required by law, but nobody goes there. And everything mobile, which is perfect for this presentation and for this place here. So there is one thing that I want to leave you with that we believe in, and it's that work is not a place to go. It's a thing that you do. And it's a big difference, because some people say, I have to go to work. No, I have to work. And that's a big difference. So we'll dive into this difference in just a bit. Okay, meet Ola from our customer support team. And Ola is asking, who is this presentation for? And I think, Ola, it's a great question. The answer is this. For somebody who wants to be a remote worker, who wants to work remotely, I think you're going to get some good tips and tricks from this presentation. But also for a mobile developer, just to see which kind of mobile apps we use in our company and what we care about and what we don't care about. So this way you can make up your mind also when you're designing your mobile apps. And for a manager with an open mind. For a manager who thinks that maybe I can let people work from home sometimes, maybe I don't have to control people by just staring at them, staring at the computers. So if you're one of these three, this presentation is definitely for you. And in this presentation, I will be pointing to many apps, many articles, many resources. But don't worry, at the end of the presentation, you will get the one link where you will be able to access all of that. So don't worry, if you miss an app name or something, don't worry, it's going to be all there. But of course, I will give you the link at the end of the presentation. So, apart from the hashtags that I mentioned before, I am not only leading a remote team of 25 people from all over Poland and beyond, I also work on this computer. I work on the iPad, and I've been doing this for the last 6 years. And I co-wrote a book, iPad only. This book is pretty old already because it was based on iOS 6 and we are at iOS 12 now. But already then I was using the iPad. And many people have been asking me, why would you use an iPad? Why don't you just use a normal computer? And it's also because it's in my DNA. I wanted to be mobile. I wanted to be, to be able to move around and work from anywhere. And that's why I was so happy when Apple decided to run the iPad Pro ad when they had this situation. The kid is being asked, what are you doing on your computer? And the kid is like, what's a computer? Because the iPad is a computer and the kid doesn't even know that. So this powerful computer is my main device and has been for the last 6 years. Why? First of all, because it's so small and so light. It's a 10-inch display, and it's very portable. I can carry it in this small man purse, so it's really convenient. And Also, it can work horizontally, vertically, however you want it. So it's really nice. The keyboard is optional, and I have realized that in my work very often I don't have to type that much, so I can just be touching things and swiping on things. And it's very gratifying actually. You touch the email, you swipe the email, you just don't respond to that. So all of that can be done very nicely on the iPad, and it has a 10-hour battery life, which is really great. And then I realized that because it's iOS, so it's the same system that I have on my iPhone, I actually have two computers on me all the time that basically have the same data. They share the same apps, the same data. It's really convenient. I can work on two computers at a time. Who can do that and still be mobile? So that's why in this presentation I will give you many examples based on the iPad, really to push this presentation forward with, to give you the examples of really true mobile work. Okay, but to start with something, to start with the structure, I want to focus first on a productivity and communication path that we have found, that we have discovered in our company. We've been studying this. We've been running the company for 11 years, and we've been studying how, what are the elements of good productivity and communication system in a team. And these are the 5 elements. I'm going to name them right now. If you don't understand them right away, don't worry, we're going to dive in each of them after that. So first one is deep work. Second one is feedback loops. Third one, quick back and forth. Fourth, face-to-face. And fifth, meetings. So these are the 5 elements of productivity and communication system in a team. And this is we've been studying this thing for quite a while, and especially in an all-remote team, we treat it very seriously. So let me tell you all about each of these elements. Let's start with deep work. So what is deep work? Deep work is focused work. This is your best work. This is your state of flow. This is where you are just immersed in your work. You're enjoying it. Nobody is disturbing you. You're just getting stuff done. This is deep work. This is a state that we all like to be, immersed in. And this is what drew me to the iPad very quickly. It's how focused it is. Initially, especially in the earlier iPads, it was just one app at a time. So there were no distractions, no windows, no Twitter notifications and things. Just one app, and I could really focus on my work. Now with iPad Pro, you can have a split screen. So as you can see, I've prepared the whole presentation in Keynote on the iPad, and I had the Keynote on the left and my outline in MindNote on the right. This way I could really quickly do the slides, just based on my outline. And if you want to write code, there is an app called Textastic, which is really nice. I mean, it has a very good editor. It works very well. Works with all the connections to everything that you want, even GitHub. It's fantastic. Well, the problem that I have right now is that being a CEO of a company, my developers won't let me code anymore. So I asked them several times, but they say no, they don't really let me. So I use this application to code myself some small projects to keep my skill a little bit sharp. But I don't push any code to Nozbe code base. And if you want to write prose, there are fantastic apps. There's so many of them. My favorite ones are Ulysses and Bear. And the best part is that the formatting is marked down, which is really nice to write. And then the output, you can export it to anything you want. So for example, I'm a regular contributor to iMagazine in Poland. I write a column every month. So I write my column in Ulysses and then export it to any format they want. So it's really convenient. And then automation. There are shortcuts. I mean, in iOS 12, it's called shortcuts. Before it was called workflows. This is cool stuff. You can really mix applications together. Applications can talk to themselves using URL schemes, and you can really prepare some powerful stuff. Like you can like whenever I, for example, have to post a blog post, I just have a workflow. I just fill out the details. There's a template. It's just fantastic. It's very focused. Helps me just prepare the frame of my work and then focus really my creativity on just getting stuff done. It's really cool. So I also have workflows for my morning routine, for my journal writing, and you will get links to these workflows also in the link that I'm going to provide to you in the end of the presentation. So really cool stuff you can do on shortcuts. And what I like about the iPad and also the iPhone and the iOS 12 is that the data is synced locally first, and then it syncs to the cloud, which is really fantastic. I mean, for example, this presentation in Keynote here, I was doing it on the plane while coming to Krakow, and I could, I started the presentation before the flight, and then I could continue working it on the flight, and then when I landed, it just synced perfectly to the cloud, so it was no problem. And now, because the iCloud has completely improved in iOS 12, it's really it works very well, and most of the apps sync with iCloud, so it's really nice. So even if you're on a flaky internet connection, you know that if you save something on iCloud, it will later sync when it has a better connection. So it's really convenient. Also, some apps support Dropbox sync as well. So anyway, this convenience of being able to work offline while still syncing when you're online is really great. And by the way, I haven't mentioned one thing. When you get an iPad, get a version with cellular connection, because then you are online all the time, which is another cool thing about the iPad. You don't have to check for Wi-Fi hotspots or whatever. Like you are just online all the time. And also now with roaming charges dropped in the EU, we are online everywhere. So it's really cool. All right. Also, some apps have their proper sync engine, like our Nozbe has a proper sync engine, and then Evernote the same thing. But again, these apps sync locally first, store the data locally first, and then sync it up to the cloud. So you have still access to the data locally, which is really convenient and really cool. All right, so this was deep work, and these are the apps I've been using for deep work. But if you're a designer, there are other apps like Pixelmator, Affinity Pro. There are really lots of great apps for deep work on a mobile device. Like developers have really realized that this computer is pretty darn powerful, and it's really cool, as I told you, to just manipulate everything with touchscreen. Okay, feedback loops. What are feedback loops? Feedback loop is the situation when you have delivered your great work, you have done it, and now you need feedback from somebody. You want them to check what you've done, and tell you what to do. And in our company, this part is really important. Because we are all remote, we want to deliver our work, and we don't want an instant feedback. I don't want my peers to just be looking, skimming through what I've done and just tell me, yeah, Michael, it's fine. No, I want them really to go through it, and in their time, when they have the time to do it, and deliver, give me some comments, give me good feedback. That's why, we let them take it and give us feedback when they can. So for me, again, on the iPad, sketching is really cool. Of course, my designer wasn't really happy when I sent him that, but well, that's what I do. I just take the pencil and I start sketching on the pencil and send the information back. And with iOS screenshots, you can take screenshots and then just annotate the screenshots, and then with the share sheet, send it to through anything you want. So this is really cool. Another thing is, again, code. You can collaborate in code. In GitHub, there is the GitHub website which you can use on the iPad, and of course there is an application called Working Copy, where again you can just completely have the whole repository of GitHub on your iPad. So it's really convenient. Again, my developers won't let me really push and commit stuff to Nozbe branch, but we have other branches, and I still enjoy using Working Copy on the iPad. And it's not just me who's like this in the company, who's that crazy. There are like this in our company, the whole culture is like this. Like we really use these devices. We use many different mobile devices, and there is this example when we had on our meeting, because our company is all remote and we meet twice a year. Actually, we meet in 2 weeks in Krakow for a whole week. So we meet twice a year for the whole week. This is where we see each other, and then we work remotely. So on one of the meetings, meet Leon, one of our developers. He had an idea for a feature, and he just pulled out his phone, coded this idea, gave the phone to Radek, our other developer. He did the code review. They pushed this to the code base. They connected to our server to build the new version of the application. They downloaded it and checked if it worked. Like everything while having a walk and discussing something. So this is really this really works. You can really do crazy stuff when you're mobile. So it's it's all possible right now. Okay, and the same goes with comments and tasks. So for example, if you're using a project management system, like we use Nozbe, of course, and then you can use Basecamp or Asana or something else. When you have this thing that you have shared projects, you have tasks, and you can comment on tasks. Again, it's a great feedback loop because you have a task, you can comment, you can add your information, you can mention somebody, and then you can ask them to get back to you. And when they get back to you in their time, they can give you great feedback. Also, very often when you're doing text, you might want to have comments in text. For us, when we write marketing texts, everything counts. We don't want to. We want to have really good content on our blog and in our articles. So what we do, we use Dropbox Paper, which is a very, very cool app that you can write stuff, and then later people can comment. You can resolve comments. You can see who's who gives you feedback, and you can reply to it and perfect the text. And this is an example of an app that we've been searching for quite a while, because we use Dropbox Paper for many things, but mostly we use it for our internal communication, our internal documentation. And there are better apps than this for documentation, actually, like better in a way. Like, for example, there is Confluence, which is a very powerful documentation app. It's so powerful, it blows your mind. But they really neglected the mobile platforms. On the iPad, the Confluence website would crash. The iPhone version of Confluence was very limited and would just let you do just a few things. So we've been first using Confluence, but after I think 2 years we completely gave up. And I was especially frustrated because I really wanted to document things in my company, but I couldn't do anything on the iPad. And another thing is Google Drive. I mean, we all know, and it's very popular, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Docs. But again, I think Google is not putting their best iOS engineers on these apps because really they blow. Like really, I mean, they are usable. Yeah, I'm using them on the iPad because I have to sometimes, but when I have to. But really, I think Google can do better than that. But I guess they're just putting all the strength in Android. I don't know. Hard to say. But what I'm saying here is that if an app is not mobile friendly, it's not well done, it's just done well for the web, but not for mobile, we won't be using it because we really need to be able to be productive when we're on the go. All right. Third element of our productivity and communication path is quick back and forth. And what I mean by that basically is chat. So who's using chat in between people? Okay, who's using Slack? Right? So Slack is, I think, right now the winner in this category. We use it in the company as our internal water cooler. We talk about things, we share where we eat something, and that's kind of the problem with Slack, because things can get out of hand. You can just be immersed in Slack very quickly and just forget about the whole thing and just be chatting and chatting. And you always have to be mindful of the first law of Slack thermodynamics, which means that every conversation, however serious it starts, goes to random. Like almost everything goes to random. So make sure not to forget about it. That's why with back and forth, it's important to iron out the details. This is this moment where you've done your work, you've gotten your feedback, but you want to iron out the details. You do it in Slack between people or in a channel, and then you continue with your work. And that's why with Slack, it's really important to be mindful of your notifications, both on system-wide, but also notifications inside the Slack, because otherwise you might be bombarded with notifications all the time, and you will develop FOMO, fear of missing out, which is not really healthy for your productivity. All right, so the fourth element of our productivity and communication system is face-to-face. So again, we've done our work, we've gotten our feedback, we've ironed out the details, but maybe we want to talk to somebody, just face-to-face, talk to them. So in an office, it's easy. You just walk to them and you talk to them. Hopefully not like that, but with a smile on your face. But in our case, in our company, we don't have an office. So how do we do that? Well, we use Slack to ask if we can talk to each other. And then we use some apps to communicate. And the usual suspects are these ones. So Skype, FaceTime, even Slack built-in has audio and video, and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. But in our experience, Skype used to be good, but not anymore, and is hanging around still, but we don't like how it works, so we use Zoom. And in Zoom, the cool thing is that it, again, works on all the platforms. You have audio and video on all the platforms, Android, iPhone, whatever you want. So it's really easy to set up a Zoom conversation. So, and also the whole conversation doesn't depend on one person's internet speed. So it doesn't really hang that much. And the last one, my favorite one, meetings. Meetings are the cornerstone of a team collaboration, right? They are the part of office culture. They are very important. So, who regularly has to attend meetings, right? Okay. And who wants more meetings? Nobody. I wonder why that is. Okay, so meetings are toxic because meetings have this feature, or maybe a bug, that they produce more meetings, right? There is a meeting before the meeting, or a preparation meeting, or a special other kind of meeting. So yeah, meetings are toxic. But in our company, especially in our remote company, we also have meetings. And let me tell you how we do it, and maybe it will help you as well. So first of all, meetings have to be prepared. There has to be a nice agenda for a meeting. If there is no nice agenda, and if nobody has read the agenda before the meeting, there is no meeting. Like, we really have to document stuff before we meet, because otherwise, why would we meet? So it's really, really crucial. And we do have regular meetings. As you can see, this is the calendar of our regular meetings. Every week we have these meetings. But all of these meetings, all of them, are optional. Like, again, if there's no agenda or we have nothing to talk about, we cancel the meeting. Done. Like on Tuesday we have a design fight, which is our very important meeting where we fight literally about the design of our app. And if we have no things prepared, no issues, no subjects, nothing researched before the meeting is not happening. We just save each other's time, we just continue with our work. So really, I think by default, meetings should be optional. It's not like you have to show up on a meeting because, I don't know, if you don't show up, you're not working or something. And another thing is you have to make sure that you invite people to the meetings that really have to contribute there. Just the bare minimum amount of people. Like, for example, in our design fight, again, it's a very important meeting about the design of our application. We were very selective who's going to go there. And we wanted also tried to make sure that people who are not invited for this meeting shouldn't feel uninvited. They shouldn't feel bad about it. But we want to be mindful of people's time. And again, we use Zoom for the meetings. In our company, as we work remotely, we like to see each other because normally we don't get to see each other. So in Zoom, even on an iPad, as you can see, I can see many people at once, many video feeds. So it works very, very well. On an iPhone, I can see 4, like 2 by 2. I guess I can see 4 on one screen. So 4 people at a time. So this is really useful because, again, we don't get to see each other that much. So we really like it. And thanks to the video conferencing right now, I feel like we're very connected and we see each other quite often. And we know each other pretty well. Also, what we do is we have an optional Friday meeting sometimes that we just do a meeting just to hang out together and just talk about stuff which is not work. So again, these are the 5 elements of our productivity and communication in the team: deep work, feedback loops, quick back and forth, face-to-face, and meetings. And it's all nice and I think very nicely structured. The problem though is that in many companies it looks like this. So in many companies you get to do some of the deep work and then you get some feedback from people, but then you chat quite a lot, and then you talk a lot with other people face to face, and then you have many meetings. This is what like a typical company looks like, and I don't think it's right. So who thinks it's right? Well, it should be the other way around, right? Does it look better right now? You have lots of time for deep work, for your best focused work, and remember, we are all knowledge workers. We don't work with our muscles, we work with our mind. And when we are when we are not focused and we cannot concentrate on our work, then we will not deliver our best work, the work we were hired to do. So again, you have most of the time you should spend on deep work. Then you spend quite substantial amount of time on feedback loops because you want this quality feedback from your team and you want also to be giving feedback to people on your team. And then you spend quite a little bit of time on back and forth because you want to iron out the details, you're not sure about something, you want to chat, and also you want to send the latest gifts to somebody. So, and then face-to-face. And face-to-face is still important because every now and then you should talk face-to-face with someone one-on-one to just make sure to nurture these relationships. And then meetings should be really optional, should be in the end when you really need them, and that's it. So I think this is how like a healthy company should look like, and this is what we strive for. We're not always there, but we're trying to be like this. So whether you have an office or maybe an open space, make sure to try to like put it in such a way that it's really helpful to do deep work. Because in Silicon Valley, for some reason, they think that when you have an open space, you have this collaboration cloud in front of you, and you collaborate more. But the idea is that you don't collaborate more; you just disturb each other more. That's the gist of it. So make sure to design your your office space to be more conducive to really good deep work and good feedback loops. Also, well, if you have a home office space, it's easier. You can shut things down. You can shut the internet down actually to just work on your stuff. So it's really, really easy. And also, thanks to the fact that we are all remote, we have the no office space. So I can work from in a cafeteria. I can work from anywhere. And this is one of the things I really appreciate in our lifestyle is that, for example, on a Monday morning, I'm driving my kids to school at 9 a.m. I'm out of the school. I drive to a local cafeteria, get a cup of coffee, work on one thing, work on some one task, and then come back to my home office and have a meeting with my direct reports. So it's really, really cool to be able to just switch contexts, to work in different places, because again, it breeds creativity. You're not tied to the same space, and you just move a little, because we don't move so much when we sit by our desks. And also what I recommend, coming back to my previous slide, is that you use a height adjustable desk. You can work standing and work sitting. This is really fantastic. I have been working standing for the last 2 or 3 years, and this way I also feel better. I'm in a better shape, and also I like standing now. I'm not tired when I'm standing. All right. So again, this is what we believe a healthy organization and healthy team should look like. Lots of time in deep work, time in feedback loops, and giving good feedback and thoughtful feedback to your peers. Like we call it asynchronous communication, that I give you something, I give you time to process it, I give you time to give me feedback, and then it comes back to me. And then back and forth, which is really important, but not that important. And then face-to-face meetings, and then the real meetings, the big meetings. And as you have seen in my presentation, you can do it all on the iPad. So, to wrap it up, remember, work is not a place that you go to. It's a thing that you do. And to get all the goodies, just go to this website, śliwiński.com. It's my last name.com/Mobiconf. You will have all the links to all the goodies, all the apps as I mentioned here. And if you have questions, I'm here for you. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I'd like to ask you about Nozbe itself, because we use it for like 2 years now in our company, and I'm curious about some features that might be coming to Nozbe, because there's not a lot of information on the internet, so maybe you can tell us something about it.
Okay, I'm gonna be vague because we're working on something really cool. So I'm gonna tell you, just stay tuned. In this, hopefully in this part of the year, we'll announce some cool stuff. The only thing I can tell you already is that we've made this shift in Nozbe from typical consumer to the app and project management app to a more of a app for like small, like your company, small businesses, small teams, from up to 20 people, up to 100 people, small teams. Because what I've realized is that many companies are doing it wrong, are doing the communication wrong. Something what I told you today on this presentation, that they use email a lot, and it's the worst thing that you mix an email about important project with an email from a newsletter or something like that. So it's so we are shifting Nozbe into more of a team collaboration, team action tool, and you already see that from the features that we have now. But it's going to be more empowerment for the teams in the future. So it's going to be really, really cool. I can't wait to tell you all about it, but I can't tell you yet. And here's Rafa, my VP of product. He will kill me if I do. So don't worry, it's coming in the next few months. Stay tuned.
Okay, great, thanks.
The cool thing about running a company so many years is that people think that, Michael, you must be bored. I mean, 11 years doing the same app. Like, isn't that boring? And after 11 years, I feel that we can still do so much more. That's the most exciting part of my work. That after 11 years, I'm not bored. I'm actually more excited than ever. So you'll see.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. What's your way to hire proper people? What's your way to do this?
Yeah, it's there is this saying in America. They say hire slow, fire fast, and I strongly believe this is so true. This is so important. So we have a hiring process. It's pretty slow. So in the beginning, the hiring process is done via email. So we get applicants, we send them information, we ask them for information, and already there we can see how they reply, how they write the email, how is the interaction by text, which is really important, because if you're on an all remote company, the interaction by text is the key interaction. This is how you're gonna communicate with everyone else. So if somebody cannot write a proper email and is not mindful of emotions that some words can evoke, then they're not good for the no good fit for the team. So this is the first part. We communicate only like this. Then later, depending for which team, there is an interview with the team who's leading the hiring, and then from there, and the meeting is via Zoom, video conferencing, and then there is another process, and then the last part, and then somebody from our team meets this person in person. So because we're spread all over Poland, and not only Poland, so whenever we hire, there's always somebody who's relatively close to you. So like we choose or we ask somebody from our team to meet this person and buy them a lunch with company money, invite them for a lunch and hang out together and see if this person from our team likes this person, likes to hang out with them and would like to work with them. And then based on that, there is last interview with me also via video, where basically I make the final decision, but usually the decision has been already made by the team. So the process is pretty long, and this thing that somebody goes and meets the person in person was a new addition to the process, and I think it was really good because this way we can really get the feeling of this new person. So we used to hire completely remotely, completely virtually. Now we also have this one situation where we see somebody. And then, then we have 3-month probation period and see if the thing works. And then if it works, then we hire them. So, but again, you have to hire slow because, and even if you do that, you can still, make a wrong hiring decision. It's,
Okay, and what's about working hours?
Yeah, working hours are completely flexible. So there are no webcams installed by the company. There is so there is really no limit. Like some people work at night, some people work. Like the best part I think about our lifestyle is the fact that you can leave the office in the middle of the day and then come back later to finish your work. And many people appreciate it. Rafał, he lives in Wrocław. He really likes to run or have a walk in the middle of the day when there is light. Because in Poland in winter, you leave when it's dark and you come back home when it's dark. In our case, you can leave work in the middle of the day, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the good weather, and then come back and just work a little bit more just to finish up. So we are completely flexible. We trust. There's another thing that I haven't included in this presentation. There is this German saying, trust is good, but control is better. I think it's the other way around. Control is good, but trust is better. So and the thing is with the remote work, it's really hard to fake work because in remote work you have to really deliver results. You have to show up with results. And what I was saying with the feedback loops, we can really see from comments, from contributions, who's working and who's not working. You can really tell. Like somebody can slack off for quite a while, but when they do, you can tell that they're slacking off. So the team can feel it. And that's why in a normal office, that's what I've been told, you can fake work by going to all the meetings, being vocal, ask questions and whatever, like, yeah, this guy is, everywhere, right? And in our case now, you cannot just show up and be everywhere and be on Slack all the time. If you're on Slack all the time, we can tell, this guy is writing lots of comments, especially that Slack sends you a report every week who's the most vocal on Slack. So that's why really we deliver work, and this is also our experience, has been our experience for the last few years, is that we like when we meet for our twice yearly Nozbe reunion, what happens is that we like to hang out with people that are very good workers because we like working with them. So this working relationship, delivering good results, being challenging to each other, makes us better friends. Any more questions?
I have one.
Yeah?
Could you tell us a bit more about Nozbe and its features up to date so you don't spoil the future features? Because I think it will be a good fit for our team, and I was wondering what it does. Is that a project management tool? Does it has more in there?
Yeah, it's a project management tool, but it's inspired by this method called getting things done. Who's heard about getting things done? Okay, good. Good audience. Nice. So getting things done by David Allen. So initially I wrote Nozbe to implement getting things done in a digital way because David Allen in his book is talking all about paper and stuff like that. I don't like paper. I'm completely paperless. So I built it for myself, and the idea was to put the productivity habits that he's talking about in the book at work. So things like what's your next action in a project, so a priority, not to forget things. So I put a task, I put a date there, and it's something buried in the project, but when the day comes, that this task has to be done, it shows up in my priority automatically. So I don't have to really think about it. It's especially useful in repeating tasks. You know, I have to do it every month or every year. Like you don't really forget things because it comes back. So we have all these systems that when you delegate a task to somebody, you can share projects. So you can have your own projects, private projects, and then shared projects. And shared projects, when you share it with a team, then you put tasks. The cool thing about it is that when you put tasks in a shared project, and when you delegate a task to somebody, it becomes their priority, so they have to decide what to do with it. And the second thing, you see their avatar. Instead of the tick, you see the avatar. So on one glance in the project, you can really see who's responsible for what. You know, this guy is doing that, this guy is doing that. So it's really clear. You don't have to ask. You know, you see the project. Okay, so these guys are doing these things. Okay. And when you see that this task is not moving forward, you know who that is. You know, you ask them in a comment, so you can comment on a task, and you can comment with lots of things. You can comment with just text, but you can comment with a checklist. You know, if somebody is not doing the task, you know, put them a checklist. You know, do this first, do this second, do this third. So you can really do that, and you can also attach lots of documents. I mean, normal documents you can attach Google Drive, Dropbox files, Evernote notes. Like we work with all these providers. So this way you can really attach documentation to the task. So it's really, again, you have everything there then. You know, you have the shared project, tasks, and in the comments you have all the details of the task. So really people know what they should be doing, right? And what I mentioned in the feedback loops part is that because the comments are very, it's a whole discussion tree, so you can really comment in a task to make sure to iron out the details. And we also use mentions. So with mentions you can, you know, mention somebody to ask them about their opinion on this task. So it's, we call Nozbe now that we communicate through tasks. This is what we're building right now, the communication platform, but communication through tasks, actionable, because this category of apps normally is called Task Manager. I don't like this name because Task Manager implies that you're managing tasks, and you shouldn't be managing tasks. You should be doing tasks. So I call them Task Doer or Project Doer, and this is our all tasks have to be done. And this is our credo. So we try to you know, to do the application in such a way, to design the application in such a way that it's conducive to getting stuff done. Like there is, for example, this this thing that I built in the very beginning of Nozbe and stayed until now, is the fact that when the task is done, it stays on the list. It goes down on the list, but it stays on the list until the end of the day, and then it goes into archive. Why? Because I've noticed that I was very hard on myself. So after the end of the day, I was like, I did nothing today. I mean, I have still 5 or 6 tasks to do, right? But then I saw, okay, but I did 20. Okay, maybe it wasn't such a good day, such a bad day after all, you know? Maybe I just overplanned it and I just put too many things on my plate. Also the idea that you shouldn't be keeping things in your head. Like the basic thing of getting things done. Like you shouldn't be storing ideas here. You should be putting them in your system. So we make all the input Nozbe. You can add tasks through Siri, through share sheet, through like many different places. You can forward an email to Nozbe, it becomes a task. So we do all of that so that you don't keep things on your mind. You can put them in your Nozbe, you know it's there. You know you'll get to it, right? This way you can just again focus your creative mind on a task that you have to do. And don't think about other things. When you think about something else, write it down. Keep doing what you're doing. So all these things are incorporated in Nozbe. You know, it's you know, you should try it. Try to. There are very nice tutorials. You can check it out. Check out. And we have a nice website, Mobiconf/business, where we give examples of different businesses using Nozbe. So you know, make sure to check it out and or contact me later as well. But what we try to do is bring these good productivity principles, good productivity habits to a team, to teach the team, you know. And very often, of course, there is some pushback. People don't want a different app, you know. We're using email, it's fine. What's wrong with email? All this stuff. But this is another trick that we use, and it's really important to how we work. Having all the internal communication, like the most important communication, actionable in Nozbe, with tasks, projects, shared projects, and comments, and having external communication with everyone else via email gives you this nice boundary. You know, this is external, this is internal. This way, I prioritize. I first check Nozbe, and then I check email, not the other way around. I'm not on email. I'm on Nozbe, and then I'm on email later. Because this is, I mean, it's also important. I want to be in touch with the world, but my team is more important to me, right? So this is also what we try to teach and try to design in Nozbe, to really teach companies that they should really have this boundary. They should have the internal communication like that. But of course, what you can do in Nozbe is you can share a project with somebody else from the outside as well, so that they put their tasks in Nozbe. They don't even have to download the app. They can use the web version to just be part of a project. So this way, for example, when we hire some external services, like we have a lawyer, like when we hired our lawyer, we said, you know, we like you and all, but you will have to use Nozbe, you know, because I'm not going to send you emails, right? Because I'm going to work with you on many important things and many confidential things, and so I prefer to use email. And again, the connection to Nozbe is encrypted, and email is usually goes in plain text, which is another security issue. And you know, and we have to really, we really care about our server infrastructure, because we are a bootstrap company. We have no VC funding, and the only thing that we really have is customers' trust. So so we have a backup system that even if our server would blow up today, we would in 15 minutes we would set up a different Nozbe server with the same data that just happened before the blow up. So we really care about that, you know, a lot. So you know, check it out. Really, as I told you, 11 years in, I'm still passionate about it, as you can see, and you know, I plan to work on it for quite a while now. And with the new things that we have cooking that I cannot share now, it's gonna be really exciting time. Like next year is gonna be cool, right, Rafael? Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And about remote work, remember, I mean, really, it can be done, you know. We are like, there are bigger companies than ours. There's Buffer, which is a bigger company. MySQL was run pretty like almost entirely remote. So you know, there are teams who are bigger than us and who can work remotely. So really, this is not something. I hope it's the future of work. I hope more companies will embrace this. I hope more managers will embrace this, because it also creates a different environment, an environment of trust. When you know these people work. I mean, you know their work. In our company, we also do some crazy stuff like TGIF, which is called Thank Goodness It's Friday. So on Friday, what we do is on Friday we don't work on current work. So we work from Monday to Thursday, and on Friday, what we have to do is do a weekly review. Again, concept from getting things done. Everybody has to do weekly review. This is what you have to do on Friday, and after that, you decide what you do on Friday. You can just watch a conference video, like for example, if Mobiconf publishes these videos, you'll be able to watch them. Catch up on some programming hobby that you have. It's basically Friday should be for weekly review and personal development. And this is how we roll. So this way, on Monday you know what to do because you've done your review, and you work very well, very effectively from Monday to Thursday. And on Friday you have the TGIF, which doesn't imply that you don't work. And believe me, like people want to work. It's not like, you know, when I gave people a free Friday, but if they can decide that this is the day, not that they wear jeans in the office. No, this is the day that they decide how they plan it. They decide what they do. Their manager doesn't decide it, they decide it. So we also do things like that. So again, try experimenting with cool things. Thank you.